Around.
Live.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Happy
Yes.
Monday.
Monday.
Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. And this is a great start to the week, right?
Sure is. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just streaming. I'm getting the Instagram stream going here, so bear with me.
Okay.
Make sure it's working properly. All
All
right, we're
right.
good to
Well,
go.
okay, I was going to say while we're waiting, if you guys don't already subscribe to our channel, please make sure you do. It helps us help you, and it also helps bring our content to others, right? So the more, I always say education is key. So the more people that we can help through education, the
Yeah,
more,
and drop us a lot of
more
comments
lives
too,
we can help.
so we can review your questions throughout and towards the end.
Yes, comment or questions pertaining to the topic today will be addressed today as we can cover them. Any other further questions can be emailed. All right, so I might leave a lot of this one to you. But still, okay. I mean, it's not just for guys. We need to. We all need to understand this. But men's sexual health is often the first place circulation problems show up.
Right.
Right. So if blood flow isn't strong enough to support an erection, it's likely your body's giving you warning signs that it's not that your cardiovascular system is actually compromised.
That's right. Yeah, and when my friends that are talking that I talk to, and I'm in my 40s, so that's when you would start to expect to see these things.
Okay.
And often I say cardiovascular disease, prediabetes, insulin resistance, all that kind of stuff, oxidative stress.
Right.
So, but definitely underlying hypertension, high blood pressure.
Sure, and I feel like many people don't consider this a warning sign of anything. They just kind of think like aging, which yes, it has to do with aging, but it can actually be a major warning sign. But the exciting news is you don't always need a prescription pill. Your body already makes the most powerful performance molecule on its own.
Yeah, it does.
Which is nitric oxide.
Yeah.
So today we're really talking about the science of nitric oxide supplements.
Mm-hmm.
And for boosting erections, do they really work? So we'll get into. I mean, let's just start off by talking about the science of nitric oxide.
Sure.
And I also want you to reiterate, because I know this is a very common misconception, that you cannot take nitric oxide. You can only take supplements that have ingredients that can help your body produce more of its own. Is that correct?
It's a gas. Yeah, that's correct. So nitric oxide is a gaseous molecule.
Because I get the question often is, do you have
nitric oxide?
Yeah, no. It
doesn't exist.
Nobody does.
No.
So like even if it's marketed that way, if you turn it over and read the ingredients, it's not nitric oxide. It's ingredients to help your body
boost. It's natural production.
Make
more of its own. That's
yes.
Right.
So like you said, what is it? It's a natural gas molecule produced in the lining of the blood vessels, right? Main role, it signals blood vessels to relax and open, improving circulation. Big deal, right? And again, this is big deal for ED, and this is also a big deal for cardiovascular disease in general. So I kind of want you to think about it all. But again, if you are struggling in that department, I want you to think of it more of health reasons, right? So we want to address that, and supplements are the best place to do it.
And a lot of men are suffering in that department.
Sure.
40% of men at 40.
Right.
And then by decade, it goes up roughly 10%. So
yeah, it's crazy.
A lot, yeah.
So why it matters for erections? Do you want to go? Do you want to?
Yeah, I think it's important. So I'm just going to reiterate the science a little bit. So the nitric oxide that is increased is what starts the cascade of events. Now, if we're specifically talking about erections, what will happen is the nitric oxide will allow more blood flow to flow into the spongy tissue, and then it increases cGMP. There's a molecule called cGMP.
Okay.
The Viagra of the world, right? The blue pill, the thing, what that does, it prevents the breakdown of cGMP. So it keeps cGMP there longer, therefore sustaining longer erection and utilizing nitric oxide for longer. The key factor here is that none of that will happen if you don't have nitric oxide.
Okay.
Nitric oxide's first.
And
it's first.
Right.
And, the stimulus needs to be first.
Okay.
Because when we start talking about erections, we're not talking about the psychosomatic stuff. We're not talking about the behavioral stuff. We're simply talking about the physical etiology of difficulty getting an erection, maintaining an erection, right? That is simply the stimulus. You have to be able to be aroused, right? Then once that happens, the nitric oxide pathway starts. But it begins with nitric oxide.
Okay. So
your body needs to be able to produce nitric oxide on its own, or have the other precursors readily available to carry out its job.
So, like in a nutshell, without nitric oxide, erections are weak or short-lived.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. And actually, yes, extrapolate out the fact that without nitric oxide, Viagra is not going to work.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they say roughly 50% of users, I think it's high 40s, of Viagra and the phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitors. That's the class of meds. There's more than Viagra in that class. Up to 50% just don't work. And a lot of times because there's other reasons.
Right.
Lack of arousal, underlying issues like inability to produce enough nitric oxide.
Right.
So
regardless, even for those that might be taking the blue pill, you still need to focus on supplements that increase nitric oxide or in foods.
And I would actually say for the people that the blue pill works or does not work, you definitely want to increase your nitrate load. And we'll talk about that today. Not just nitrates. We'll talk about other two main ways that nitric oxide is made. But you want to put nitric oxide nitric oxide precursors on board with the meds as well.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Lots of benefits.
Okay, so digging in a little more of how they work. So there's supplement supply precursors like L-arginine and L-citrulline.
So we're going to talk about two pathways now. So that would be the enzyme pathway.
Okay. And then is the other one like the plant-based
the nitrate pathway
activator?
Correct.
Like beetroot, pomegranate.
Correct.
Hawthorn berry, all in here.
Right. So when we get into this conversation, let's make sure we're clearly talking about the two paths to nitric oxide. The nitric oxide synthase. So there's an enzymatic process that begins with arginine.
Okay.
L-arginine. So guys, we're going to talk about L-arginine, and L-citrulline is in there as well. So those are your synthase property pathway. Then you're going to talk about your nitrate pathway, where food is medicine. Of course, we know that. So you'll hear about how the nitrates convert to nitrite via mostly oral microbiome, gut microbiome, and then that all goes into the storage of and production of nitric oxide. So two different pathways, and that's kind of why we separated them the way we did. And we'll talk more about erectile dysfunction, and we'll talk about performance and some of the other benefits and why we split them the way we did, and how to get the most out of these products.
And so many of us, normally just think like essential aminos have to do with our muscle. Right? But you have to, when we talk about essential amino acids, guys, these are so crucial for overall health and wellness. So just thinking about the nitric oxide production and again, cardiovascular health, you got to push that, because remember, if we talk about ED, it's typically, that's not the root cause. That's just a side effect of something else that's going on. Right. So like I sometimes I talk about them like little red flags. That's a little red flag saying that there's more of an underlying health issue to deal with.
Yeah. And also when you start talking about the aminos, it's almost like, why did you put it in there? Well, because arginine and citrulline are amino acids, but because all the essential amino acids arginine and citrulline are not essential. They're not essential. But anyway, they're in there because the essentials are also precursors to the hormones, to the neurotransmitters, to the enzymes that are in the mouth that start to break down and convert nitrate to nitrite.
Okay.
See, there's all these other things that are happening in this. They're all precursors to other areas. So when you're talking about overall health and performance, and specifically sexual health and performance, the essential aminos play a pretty big role that people aren't aware of.
Okay.
So, and then you can control you also can control your dosing a little bit better and your timing. So we'll talk about that too.
Awesome. And like a key difference between, drugs like your Viagra and supplements is drugs give a temporary effect, right? Nitric oxide support builds long-term vascular health and consistent performance, right? So again, if you're doing both, but I mean, let's try to really work the supplement end, the health and wellness end, and see if we can help improve our vascular health. Therefore, all those little red flags might go away, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Health, wellness, supplement, lifestyle.
Yeah, and the blue pill, like Viagra, again, specifically, it's the most popular one, but that was designed and studied as a blood pressure med. So then they realized that it lowered blood pressure, but also created prolonged erection. So
are there negative side effects?
Yeah, dizziness, lightheadedness, nausea, priapism, which is just this really prolonged erection, but they're very minimal. The side effects are pretty minimal. Okay. For most men, it's worth experimenting with the drug. But to your point, though, like if you're talking about having those issues, you probably have some underlying root cause issues that you should need addressed too, and then we'll talk about the lifestyle stuff towards the end.
Okay.
Because it all kind of comes together.
Sure. Yeah, well, while we're there, before we go into like, do the nitric oxide supplements really work? But because we were talking about what ED really means for your health, which
right.
It's not, ED is not just about the sex side. It's one of the earliest, like I say, earliest warning signs, red flag of cardiovascular disease. Just please keep that in mind. Share that bit of information because we have to pay attention to all of these warning signs that we get, so we don't have the big warning signs that could end up being fatality. So underlying issues often points to problems, like you said, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, arterial stiffness.
Right.
So again, Viagra is that quick fix that might solve that little problem right there, but it's not solving the underlying issue. And I always like to talk about functional medical approaches to things, which tends to look at root causes, right, and not just treat the symptom. So ED is a symptom. It is a symptom. Okay, so do they really work like what the science says? I mean, yes, right?
Yeah, they do.
When used consistently, like you can't just say like, okay, I'm going on a date tonight and I'm going to make sure I take my super reds. Like you need to be taking this stuff on a regular basis to improve your cardiovascular health, your blood flow, your arterial stiffness, like all of it.
But timing does matter, right? So if you were trying to time it around sexual performance, you would still probably want to time it. It's just like you would time Viagra. You would time it an hour before, but to your point though, you should actually be taking it every single day. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the clinical studies show about L-citrulline and beetroot extract significantly improving endurance, overall blood flow. I mean, the science is there. Again, not an instant effect like Viagra. It's not like something you can watch your clock and you'll see some results in 30 minutes, but they work over time to restore healthy vascular function.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is our goal with health and wellness.
And I guess you could say a side effect of if you had an overdose or too much dietary or nitrates, you could see a precipitous drop in blood pressure. I mean, they did studies of blood pressure med. There are drugs on the market to help for blood. The isosorbide dinitrate, it's a nitrate. Nitroglycerin, if you're having chest pain, give you nitroglycerin. These are nitrates. So the nitrate pathway is very effective.
Right.
It does work. It does work.
And I will say the effectiveness of supplements is much greater when combined with other lifestyle factors like proper sleep, exercise, a healthy balanced diet, hydration, stress management.
Yep.
So I feel like we kind of beat this home all the time,
do.
but it is just so true, guys.
Yeah.
You just have to do it all,
Yeah.
right? You don't need to be perfect at it all, but you need to address it all. You can't just address one of those lifestyle factors.
Yeah, it's true though. Like you said, the arterial stiffness. I mean, as we age, that's just an inevitable fact. I mean, same thing with the nitric oxide decrease. So, we have half our production, again, using 40 years of age as the benchmark. Half of the nitric oxide. I know.
The other end of
But
the
half you have half the production that you did when you were 20. So things will stiff. Your arteries get stiffer, right? And exercise and dietary remedies is really the only way to keep that system running as close to mostly as efficient as possible.
Right.
So you have to exercise. It's like a non-negotiable. So, you really got to build that into your daily program.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, like we said, additional benefits. We already talked about this. We're beating this home, the cardiovascular health, energy. But I mean, bottom line, the answer is yes. Yes, they work. Yes, the studies are there. So if you don't have more to talk about on that regards, we could just talk about why we have this platform here of supplements. Because right now we only kind of
we're focusing on those two, right?
About those two.
Yeah.
But I mean, super reds, rich in beetroot, pomegranate, grapeseed extract, hawthorn berry, natural nitrates.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And
Polyphenols.
Polyphenols, antioxidants. So again, the oxidative stress. So if you're a smoker, if you're exposed to noxious chemicals, if you have a lot of contaminant things like that,
right?
Oxidative stress is actually a big cause of some of these endothelial dysfunction, right? The endothelium is the lining in the blood vessel where nitric oxide diffuses across.
Okay.
So that's a big contributor, So you really got to balance that out with plant-based phytonutrients.
Right. I mean, awesome. Very, very important. And yes, diet, eat them too. But it is very hard to eat the amount that you need to eat on a daily basis to get what you can get in one scoop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's near impossible. You'd be sitting there eating plates of beets and
But to your point though,
hawthornberries. You're getting hawthornberries.
so starting here with the nitrates, arugula, spinach, beetroot, right?
Yes.
Those are some of your top 3 areas that you can get the most. And then if you come over here to citrulline and arginine, so citrulline, watermelon, arginine from nuts and seeds. But like you would, again, though, you know.
Right, but I was reading it this morning. I cannot remember what it said, the amount of spinach you would have to eat in a day.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, you wouldn't do it. I mean, it's a lot. It's too much.
Yeah.
But again, any other additional food matters. Okay, essential aminos. We talked about the citrulline, 300 milligrams, 500 milligrams of arginine.
No. 3,000 milligrams
Sorry, I
of
meant
citrulline.
3,000. Sorry,
3 grams of citrulline on purpose. The studies support that.
And 500
milligrams of arginine.
And
Per serving, right?
Per serving.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we always recommend. I mean, I take 2 servings of each per day, but I mean that's how I like
High
to do
performance,
it. Okay, so factor 4. This is our omega-3, turmeric, garlic, CoQ10. You guys know of this, anti-inflammatory, but we need it to help support our healthy blood vessels.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not just like I'm going to take these 2 and going to be wonderful. You also need to help keep the inflammation down. And then I just kind of hit these guys back here: vitamin D3, Q2, magnesium, honorable mention. Supports vascular tone, keeps calcium out of the arteries, ensures nerves and muscles function optimally. So like, gotta be taking this, guys. And our newest launch, black seed oil, among the gazillion things that it does, it's a broad cardiovascular and immune support. So it helps reduce inflammation that restricts blood flow. So, I mean, just wonderful addition. So glad we added this. And then of course, so I wanted to throw in vitality because we are talking about, basically men's sexual wellness. Now, vitality does not boost NO, right? But it is a nice, they have great synergy to what we're doing here, right? When it comes to men's, sexual performance, health and wellness, supports healthy testosterone, libido, sexual energy. And it when paired with nitric oxide, like the support for, men's healthy sexual wellness is is improved. It's great. And a lot of you do take, a lot of this stuff too. So just know like what you're doing is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I agree. And then also just the sort of round that out, like whether you're thinking about it from a muscle perspective, because cardiovascular performance for heart health, or you're thinking about it for exercise performance, because it not only does it deliver more oxygen to the tissues, more micronutrients, more amino acids, more fatty acids, but it also increases the process, the elimination of waste products.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there's a lot of benefit to the exercise stuff. There's been a lot of studies have shown benefit in menopause, talking about benefit in brain and cognition. So, I mean, of course, but I don't think it's a surprise to anybody when you realize that it's really food-based. It's like, well, if you're eating all these amazing plant compounds and colorful plants and fruits and vegetables every day and enough servings a day, you would feel and be that much healthier.
Sure. Again, it's just hard to get all of that in on a consistent basis.
And especially some of the stuff that is not local to your area, right? So that's another thing that's cool about supplements is that we can actually source a sustainable, ethically grown plant in a powder form, highly concentrated, and get that delivered, and that'll cover, because you won't see it in your local mart.
Right. Well, that's the
when we say shop local.
Right. I mean, I've never seen one.
Right. No, I know.
Have you? I mean, some of you may have, but I mean, it's not something in the grocery store. So yeah, important to take your supplements.
Yeah, and the aronia too. Like we talked about that being one of the only domestic organic sources that we get from the Midwest. So it's cool, family farm dedicated to it.
Right.
But shopping local, of course, eating those things as you can source them as close to the local as possible. But when you can't, I mean, you add this together, it's very powerful.
Really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any questions over there?
Yeah. There was some questions coming in. Yeah. I was trying to go through them a little bit and I was just making sure I was. So let's real quick just cover the timing of this stuff. So if you're going to use it for exercise performance, the supplement is the essential aminos and the reds. 1 hour before working out would be okay. If you can get 2 hours, that's great, but that's fine. You could definitely work with 1 hour. Time of day really doesn't matter because you're not going to stimulate you too much. It's not going to be like that. There's no caffeine or thermogenics, so you can take them late in the day. Mm-hmm. So you can take them both on an empty stomach. The nitrates do a little bit better with some fat. But yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think.
And if you guys haven't already subscribed, I know we talked about the beginning of it. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Like,
And
in
Nicole
the
said,
comments.
even Nicole said here too, nitric oxide provides oxygen in the brain as well, right? So it's delivering more oxygen. So if you think about it, when your body's demanding more oxygen, like under exercise, it's a little bit more efficient that it's working in the aerobic respiration. So it'll somewhat delay. It'll give you more stamina,
Right.
so that you're not breaking down so much the lactic acid and
Yes,
hydrogen.
Right. And even like we just mentioned, the brain, this is what I'm
The brain,
saying.
right?
So if
High
you
energy demand
have
center.
ED or you're starting to show signs of that, remember that your brain is not getting that blood flow either. So maybe the signs aren't here yet, but it's a sign that things are coming. It's a sign that your blood flow is not functioning properly. Something's going on. So take care of yourself, guys. We don't want a cardiac event. We don't want, yeah.
So Lori said, I feel like the Reds have helped the neuropathy in my toes. So peripheral neuropathy is a lot of times, it can be a microvascular problem. So the small blood vessels can get, difficulty with delivery of nutrients and blood flow.
Right.
So yeah, it can for sure.
Yeah, when people email me about neuropathy, these two are always in the mix. Well, now Pector and Black Seed Oil, they're always there because that's what helps support our vascular system.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And remember, guys, it's not, I would say it's not just if everything you could do is just in one bottle. That's why when you see up here, it looks like a lot. But if you have somebody marketing out there this one product, I mean, send it to me so we can break it down and tell you what you still need. I'm going to tell you, oh, great, take that, but you still need these three things, right? It's not just that one bottle. Otherwise, we would all be taking just one supplement and all of our health ailments would be gone.
Yeah, for sure.
In a perfect world.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, obviously, when we were talking about erectile dysfunction, specifically on erections, we're just talking about one particular little subset of what erectile dysfunction can look like. There are other contributing factors and other things. So certainly, if you guys are experiencing it, then definitely go speak to your physician, speak to your urologist or your primary care, and open up the dialogue and the conversation for sure.
Right.
For sure. And at the same time, start doing these things and increasing. Actually, I'll just run down a couple of the real quick notes I made just on lifestyle things, and then we can drop the call and let everybody go. So you guys can. We talked about exercise, of course, right? We talked about nutrition and the foods. You can't stop aging. That's unfortunately just stacked against us. Protecting your oral microbiome, so your mouth. So careful with those antibacterial mouthwashes. Those are not good.
Yes, we've talked about that.
We talked about that a long time ago, but don't do that. Those are not beneficial. There are different ways to cleanse the microbiome in the mouth, to nourish it. If you have questions, you can email Lisa. Reduce oxidative stress, increase antioxidants, right? You get two benefits here. You get your nitric oxides, but you're also getting your phytonutrients. You want to manage your blood pressure effectively, get a blood pressure monitor, watch for blood sugar rises, know your A1C, know your insulin levels, know your fasting sugars, get these numbers, know what they are.
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers. And the last one was nose breathing. If you can work on nose breathing a little bit, we've got to be, if you can handle the mouth tape, but if not, just it's a conscious effort. There are different ways to create more conscious effort around breathing and doing more nose breathing, because it's those nasal passages where most of your nitric oxide will get converted.
I was just thinking about our daughter. They have these kids are all getting into this like mouth or nose breathing and everything. So she has this mouth tape that it looks like lips.
Okay, clown face.
And it has like a little slit in it.
Yeah.
But it helps train them. And I don't know. They start so young with whatever. But I mean, it's a great healthy thing. It's hysterical. You walk in and say goodnight to her, and it's got this big
clown face.
Yeah. But I'm glad that they're learning it. I am. Just made me chuckle. All right. So. Good?
Yeah, good.
So remember, prescription drugs, they give us that quick fix. Live Goods, nitric oxide, vitality stack, all this stuff here. Building lasting confidence for strengthening the entire cardiovascular system and sexual health system. So all very important for our health and wellness. So any further questions, guys, please go ahead and email me. But thanks so much for joining us today. Again, share this, guys. Share this, because this is a lot of information that people need to know. Maybe not enough people talk about.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.